The following is an extract from the book Creativity, the Proto-Impetus of Consciousness and Love, by Joseph Kahuho Gatodo. Feel free to contact the author on 0715656938/01166671545 regarding this and other materials. Chapter 3, Volume 3, Beauty and its Elements. There are men rich in virtue, who make a study of beauty, who live in peacefulness in their houses. Sirach 44:6. The beauty of every age, and in every age, is part of the creative program system of that age and plays part in the becoming and ascension of men towards destiny and purpose. Now, as hitherto seen, laws and principles are elements of the crown and throne of a people. And by the throne and crown comes preservation of both. And by the same, a people are preserved. Laws and principles are preserving elements and serve a fortifying function. Ergo, the constitution and laws of a people either preserves them or destroys them. The same is said of persons, their morals and principles, which in another layer of reality and knowledge are elements of beauty in the physical and spiritual sense. The same applies to a nation. The laws approved by rulers, persons included for they rule over themselves and in themselves being governors of themselves by cosmic law, the universal principle of sovereignty come free will, become their creative elements for good or otherwise. Good and proper laws create goodness and impure laws create chaos and ruin. The laws of a people can be their undoing. Ergo, destruction of a people and persons is by their creative elements. Volume 3.1, Beauty's Crown. Morals and principles are the crown of physical and spiritual beauty. A beautiful woman devoid of virtue lacks the crown of beauty. She is not enthroned and cannot preserve her husband nor any man. For by virtue comes preservation. Principles are preservatives. Again, the thrones of beauty are emanations of thrones of wisdom and the seven spirits, who are thrones in and of themselves. Beauty is an element of the seven spirits, and by virtue is a woman enthroned in same, and by same from same. And thence from is preservation and fortification. Thrones preserve. Now, in being preserved and fortified by the crown of beauty and its elements, which are preservation itself, the soul is taught governance, one of the noble intelligences and imperatives of knowledge in all physicalities, along with beauty, which by its nature teaches and embellishes, the soul in governance making a wise and just ruler, and rightly so. For beauty is the labor of wisdom, and what is more just than wisdom? Again, beauty is wisdom's clemency and its immediacy, and rightly teaches same. Ergo, governance is acquired by an adherence to virtue. Wherefore, it is proper and righteous to say, beauty makes governors and raises kings well fortified in the light and its elements, its virtues. It does this by gathering and instilling the elements of nobility in the soul. So, the soul that rightly contemplates beauty desires it correctly and gathers the elements of nobility, whereupon it is established in purity and fortified in righteousness. Having understood the purpose of the natural desire and inclination of beauty, and to same in all men, generic beauty instructs by her proclivity in all souls, inclinations are ordained excellent instructors, and in them lies the knowledge of natures and an understanding of their creative potencies. It is a noble conclusion to state that governance is properly studied from, and in beauty's hand, and prudent rulers are lovers of beauty. And being conversant with governance, beauty loves governors and authority, for she has an understanding of her benefits in all physicalities. 'Tis for this reason that beautiful women love men in governance and men of governance. Beauty is a consort of governance and is in consort with same. And by these, her knowings, beauty is magnified in nobility and makes nobles and is desirous of nobles. Truly, within the aforesaid orbit, is the indisputable truth that beauty has a natural inclination for governance, whereby also is her want and desire for governors, of state and of the self. And of the two, her most dominant inclination, in the orbit of purity within the positive creative stream, is men excelling and established in self-governance. This is the mark of nobility, and by same kings are made. It is the sturdy stuff of kings and queens. In the negative creative stream devoid of purity, where her natural propensity for governance is corrupt, beauty seeks men of titles for benefit's sake and not for purity's sake. Not to magnify her nobility, but to satisfy her lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, and meet her pride of life. Rightly then, beauty is a stream of life or a source of death. And being well familiar with governance, it either makes a crown of death or a crown of life, establishes physically and spiritually or destroys physically and spiritually. And properly so, for governance gives life or death. Beauty destroys or builds. Corrupt governance torments men physically and spiritually or adds life to life. Corrupt beauty is a torment, but pure comeliness is a stream of life. Consequently, beauty is ordained for physical and spiritual fortification, two elements in one of the primal functions of governance. For therein in her lies and emerges the labors of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, reverence, counsel, might, and the spirit of life in their most excellent articulations and elements. Their virtues and adornments, the noblest of traits endowed with infinite might and thew for the soul towards navigating the various physicalities of Yah. Ergo, beauty instructs in the above-said intelligences and is a holistic tutor of the infinite in his various extremes. Again, in her variety, she instructs concerning men in revealing their hearts by their diverse inclinations of beauty, ordained, developed, and/or corrupt, which beauty has set in them from the beginning, being a craftsman of men. Each soul has its own preference and desire within the orbit of comeliness. The same is determined by number, weight, placement, and measure, elements of proportion. Yet, a pulchritude face and body is not a homely soul. Alas, one can be desirable and not admirable. Desire is not admiration, and men settle for admirable souls. For therein lies peace, and therefrom springs honor, support, and respect. Verily, a comely face is not a homely soul, and a homely soul with a comely face is a powerful creative system and is wisdom's hand equally spread and perfectly aligned to itself from itself by itself through its constant pursuit of balance and achieving same in men, generic. For them to behold beauty's cosmic balance and attain same in themselves, thereby being perfected in governance and established in holiness. Therewithal, beauty articulates wisdom's creative elements and virtues. Same are Yah's creative powers and virtues. The creative breath of the Holy One, its infinite spirit, that which it articulates, it also conceals. Beauty is wisdom's subtleties, Yah's subtle speech containing layers upon layers of knowledge, physically and spiritually. This extends to its virtues, the intelligences that are its adornment and elements of its crown. After all, intelligences contain infinite potential, and our infinite actual potential states come infinite creative powers essential to the undertakings of any, and in any creative program systems. Rightly, beauty, in her dealings with men, sets them up, appoints them, for excellence. She is wisdom's excellence articulated, and ascension in any and every age, and this is her clemency. In beauty dwells all of wisdom's virtues, its truth, and the hopes of life. All grace of the way and of the truth is in me. All hope of life and of virtue is in me. Sirach 2400 Hours 25. Volume 3.1.1. Hope, Virtue's Tree and Beauty's Prognostic Function. Hope is realized through virtues, and since beauty teaches virtues, it instructs in hope and fortifies the heart in the same. Casting dreams and prognosis of the future. Hope is based on what is to come, what has been seen but is not yet. Ergo, hope is prognostic, thereby making beauty is prognostic in function. And rightly so, for wisdom that has worked her out and is in her, and which she articulates, is conversant with all knowledge, of things to come, of things that were, and of things that are. She carries the knowledge of wisdom and is wisdom's knowledge. For then, beauty is conversant with things to come, with things that are, and with things that were. Consequently, beauty is prognostic and a prognosis by itself within the layers of wisdom's knowledge in its understanding. With her is hope's instruction and its presages. Volume 3.2. Seemliness. In another layer of the knowledge of beauty, seemliness distinguishes beauties in the same way one face sets another apart. And it is unbecoming for a comely face to lack righteous governance. For a proper interrogation of beauty eradicates cowardice, births courage, and makes a daring heart well embellished and embedded in veneration. These, the aforesaid, are beauty's craftsmen and members of his council, from whence streams her counsels in all matters and dealings of life. Same are traits, elements, and counselors of righteousness, whereby the soul is established in purity and solidified in goodness, making it tranquil and a source of same. Still, these, her virtues, contain the wherewithal of life navigation, and are the wherewithal of proper governance. For as herein articulated, beauty is conversant with governance and is a worker and instructor of same. It can, therefore, be said that beauty is the wherewithal of proper living and excels in self-control, the purest and noblest of virtues, with the propension and potency to subjugate the desires of soul and body. Dovetailed with the same is its supremacy over all other virtues, being a ruler and governor of them all. The rest of the virtues are thrones of self-control and elements of her exercise. It is therefore proper for rulers to possess self-control, and the noblest of these are men, generic, established and becoming the same. Such are a delight to beauty and keep in step with her protocols, and are beauty's honorary to men, her dignitaries and ambassadors in diverse stations of life and living. Again, the same are wisdom's handmaids, for beauty is her workman. This is the intelligence articulated by the natural propensity of beauty and its enjoyment in all men, generic. For the soul has a natural tendency to enjoy beauty and its growth. And what is there to be surprised at if the natural desire of the soul to enjoy the fruition of beauty is quenched? For Maccabees 1:31, Volume 4, Beauty's glory and honor. Beauty's honor is in her covering, and by the same its glory is revealed. Her glory is magnified in her covering. Ergo, honor uncovers glory, and it is honorable to cover beauty. Her seemliness is her covering. By its maidens she is covered and adorned. By the same she is uncovered. Ergo, the display cum adorning of beauty reveals the structure of the soul, the presence of seemliness of otherwise, and whether she is honored or dishonored. Your dressing reveals your attitude towards her, and whether its virtues are embedded in your soul, her various understandings and knowings. Wherefore, decency and appropriateness are expressions of her intelligences and creative energy units, the above said virtues. Same are its creative elements and various governors of her realm, itself under the reign of beauty. Consequently, decency is a display of an understanding of beauty and an awareness of her knowings. Same are her thrones and potencies, where through it articulates his infinite extremes, by which she is established and fortified. Wherewith, also, she governs herself and governs all things, being a crafts tool in wisdom's hand, who is God's master craftsman, fluent in all his dealings and ways. Ergo, the elements of wisdom are beauty's craftsmen, and by beauty's hand is wisdom taught. Still, in her virtues, and by its virtues, men attain the glory of wisdom. Wherefore, wisdom and her counsel are attained in the understanding of beauty, and the possession of her virtues teaches the knowledge of wisdom, thereby revealing its might by the working of her powers, wherein also its veneration and pure spirit, for all things are seen and known. Volume 4.1, The Uncovering of Beauty. Now, beauty is glorified by her coverings. They add nobility upon her and magnify its honor. In higher terms of existence, and per the orders of universal structure, no man can undress beauty without her virtues. Why, even on earth, men feign admiration to uncover beauty, wherefrom it is thought by the fair that they are honored. For from veneration rises honor and appreciation. But praise of beauty is not an honor of the same. Ergo, there are protocols of uncovering beauty, and the same are her virtues and elements. Needless to say, the pursuit of pleasure is among the orders, but it is the least of all. The last in the ranks, and least with the mature, but first with the young, and most prominent in the youth. Thereat, in one's youth, does beauty test, and is beauty tested in true virtue's form and fashion, that it may be perfected and brought to honor and nobility by her elements. And of these, none is brilliant in power as self-control, which reaps honorable pleasure and subdues beauty. The pleasure of beauty and the soul's natural propensity towards it must be subjugated. Therefrom does power reside to uncover beauty and behold her glories. Verily, by her virtues is beauty subdued. Her elements are her undoing. Only her reflection overthrows her. If we are to rule beauty, let's be one with its virtues. Still, by the same it opens her infinite treasures, gushing forth her creative streams. The elements of its structure, her very self in various creative extremes from, and in its infinite spectrum. Possessing and exercising the virtues of beauty is meeting the protocols of unclothing and excavating her infinities. Same applies to sex, which is an act of unclothing and excavating beauty. Consequently, Meeting these protocols guards the excavation and unclothing process, making it honorable. By same, the nobility of sex, the excavation and unclothing of beauty, is magnified in nobility and amplified in righteousness, wherewith also the nobility of the soul in and within beauty is enlarged. These, her virtues and powers, are her adornment. Spirits are adorned by their virtues and guarded by same. Ergo, these, beauty's virtues are structures of her fortress and her handmaiden whom it uses to articulate her works and perform her art of perfecting and embellishing the souls of men in righteousness towards the fulfillment of their destiny in the various physicalities of Yah. Still, by the same, and in the process of her service to humanity, he empowers them to subdue her. The possession of her virtues, becoming as she is what it is in and of itself by infinity's mighty wisdom, is possessing the powers of its subjugation. The nature of spirits subdues spirits. Beauty subdues beauty, wisdom subdues itself, and etc. Whereby her virtues and creative elements are brought into function in the man, generic, and from the same by her through the man to administer creation stored in its infinities. The man that subdues beauty partners with her in all doings, and by this, beauty takes and expresses her stake in the destiny of men. For the spirit and intelligence has a stake and interest in the destiny of men and longs to manifest and play her role in all their dealings. Volume 5. Beauty's Paradox. I've seen beauty true, that in no has proved untrue. Beauty from far is far from beauty. Joseph Kahuho Gatoto. It is possible to possess in form what is absent in soul. A beautiful form that utters nobility can host to a foolish soul and or a soul lacking in the very virtues it articulately articulates. And this is beauty's paradox. One of her infinite silent speechless aimed at giving men her understanding. In her equity, beauty has adorned the fool and wise alike. By its understanding, she has concealed wisdom in the fool. And in her knowledge, he has made understanding plain to all. And so it is written, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Proverbs 31 verse 30 NKJV. You should not praise a man for his beauty, and you should not despise a man for his appearances. Sirach 11:2. You should not favor a woman's beauty, and you should not desire a wife for her beauty. Sirach 25:28. One must, as a principle of navigating beauty, an element of the physical realm, understand that a comely face is not a sign of a tranquil soul. And this beauty's doing in her infinite wisdom and wisdom's doing in beauty is appointed to enrich the soul with virtues, giving it access to higher creative system programs. And what is the same if not the mastery of beauty? It has, by the aforesaid, taught and uttered its way, that men of understanding may subdue her in his knowledge and exercise its might by gathering her wise counsels. Beauty enriches the soul with virtue, cords it peace and bliss. But woe to beauty far from beauty, therein tranquility is not found. Such comeliness unsettles the soul. Wherefore, by comeliness of body, many have been ruined, but by a fair soul, multitudes are preserved, and a fairness of heart and body is mighty to save. Again, a comely face is peaceful, but a beautiful soul gives peace. And both as one is greater tranquility. Understanding beauty's paradox is an imperative of navigating the physical realm, ascending into higher creative system programs, subduing spirits, and grasping the self, physically and spiritually. Dovetailed with the aforesaid is grasping and excelling in governance. Wherefrom, understanding beauty's paradox is an essential of proper self and large-scale governance. The same understanding fortifies the throne and establishes the crown. And what is the same but grasping the instruction of beauty's inclination instilled in all men by its wisdom? I, wisdom, am the mother of the beauty of love, and of fear, and of knowledge, and of holy hope. Sirach 2400 hours 24. Wisdom is the mother of the beauty of love, and the mother of the beauty of love is the mother of the love of beauty. Wisdom is the love of beauty. Consequently, to love beauty is wisdom. Ergo, it is wisdom to love beauty and understanding to navigate the same. So then, one's love for beauty is displayed in its understanding wherein lies the wherewithal of beauty navigation. To therefore love beauty is to gain its navigation. A true lover of beauty possesses the knowledge of its navigation. Understanding beauty perfects the love and desire for comeliness. And a perfected understanding perfects the soul. And therein is patience found, who accompanies self-control and is a tool of its exercise. So beauty, in instilling and teaching virtues, works the labors of the Prince of Righteousness in soul, making it complete and lacking nothing. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. James 1 verse 4, NKJV. For endurance is a mighty charm, and patience giveth many good things. The Testament of Joseph 1:24. Beauty gives all things by the potencies of her virtues, and therefrom men, generic, obtain their inheritance in it and in the eternal in her, whence from she has risen and is an element of same, who is all and fills all in all being the all. If they, being delighted by such sights, suppose them to be gods, let them know how great the Lord of them is in splendor. For he who created all things is the author of beauty. Wisdom 13:3. For, by the greatness of the creation and its beauty, the creator of these will be able to be seen discernibly. Wisdom 13:5. Now, in the ambit of the aforegoing, a beautiful body devoid of a comely soul is an uneven measure and an imbalance functioning outside the parameters of the cosmic principle of balance, one of the universal creative powers. Wherefore, the consciousness in question is unbalanced within the measures and weighing of beauty, and such is not encouraged by wisdom's handmaids. Diverse weights are an abomination to the Lord, and dishonest scales are not good. Proverbs 20 verse 23 NKJV. Physical beauty devoid of moral fairness is a dishonest scale, and in certain higher terms, it is an abomination for one to be fair in body but be far from beauty. You shall not have in your house differing measures, a large and a small. You shall have a perfect and just weight, a perfect and just measure, that your days may be lengthened in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Deuteronomy 25 verses 14 to 15 NKJV.